Hey again, it's me. And I actually have something specific I want to talk about in this video. And the whole inspiration for this topic was the fact that I'm going about my morning routine, I'm smoking a joint, I'm having some coffee, and I'm listening to my music, and this is my morning routine, and it's my nice quiet time in the morning to really just kind of sit and process and journal and read, or maybe just consider how I'm feeling for the day. As I'm doing so, some certain songs come on, and out of nowhere, like a truck, it hits me for the first time in a week or two. The breakup. It hits me very differently than it was hitting me a couple months ago. This was new, and it's hitting me right now, and I feel like the most comforting thing I can do to somebody else is sit there and let somebody else know that it gets better. I feel like to properly get into it, we kind of have to deconstruct who I am as a person, especially in a relationship. Now, in a relationship, I tend to be a bit more of the, I guess you could say, cold-hearted one, the cold shoulder. I'm not very romantically or physically affectionate. A lot of my love comes out in either acts of services or gift giving or time spent together. A lot of my displays of love come out very differently to what's advertised in movies or books, or maybe what your friends even talk about. So this video is also just kind of for the people out there who want to love, who crave love, and who just have the biggest heart imaginable, but for some reason it's harder to see because we're not so displaying of it. I see you. I'm also that person. So it's been about nearly 3 months since the breakup, which I didn't think I'd ever be saying, feeling so content. It's weird. This is a person I spent nearly 5 years of my life with. Genuinely did envision myself being with them forever. And now I'm at a point where that fantasy is dead. And that hurts. I was easily able to let go of him in the relationship, once that no contact settled in, and I learnt to detach myself very quickly and really heal and process and grieve. I learnt a lot of it was just attachment, but the fantasy that one day it might be him was stuck in my head, and it was preventing me from looking after myself, from doing things for myself. It was preventing me from a lot, which to whoever's watching this who's gone through a breakup can probably understand why that's so insane to be able to say. But if you haven't gone through it, essentially you are in so much pain and heartache, and you are forced into a position where you are by yourself and thinking of yourself when you don't want to, in the times where you used to have that person. Also, so weird to see myself and who's coming out of this breakup, the person I'm becoming, the woman I'm becoming, and the morals, the values, the ethics I'm slowly developing. I can't imagine for the progress in a year's time. Also, to understand how differently it hit me today, we have to speak about how breakups hit you initially. Now, for me, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. I was constantly at an extreme high and then switching to an extreme low, and just riddled with fear and anxiety and feeling like I was completely out of control of everything. It was fucking hysterical. It was a fucking mess. But slowly, when I put those boundaries in for myself and respected my own space, my own healing, and my own needs and my own wants, is when I was able to see past whatever kind of blindness you're in when you're in love. Like those rose-tinted glasses that are able to be taken off, and you see truly the amount of damage you received that you didn't deserve to receive. In those moments, people are telling you that this is time for you to love yourself, to think of yourself, to want the best for yourself. But I don't think anybody understands that in that moment, that's not what you want to hear, because all you want to do is talk about them. All you want to do is remember them, and that's just because you are in so much pain, and that person was once the biggest source of comfort you could fucking fathom. And now, for some reason, for some cruel, inhumane, heart-aching, gut-wrenching reason, you are by yourself. And it's so bloody hard to adjust to. It's insane. How can someone else do that to your nervous system? How can they so easily entangle themselves into your very being and then separate? and you expect yourself to not be in the pieces you're in. What I mean by take the time you need is when you are in those pits where it feels like hell, like the ground is going to open up and swallow you whole, and you're gonna feel every little splinter in your skin of all the words they used to say to you that you wish you could hear. When you are in that hell, take the time you need to just let it out. As the kids say, crash out, tweak, if you will. Really just let it wreck you, let it make you feel absolutely fucking miserable, and then I promise it will be over soon. When you start to cry, and I know the biggest thing is when you start crying, you feel like you're never ever going to stop. And I can assure you that you will stop, the pain will stop, and the pain will go. So, I've had the fair share of the absolute fucking emotional turmoil that is a breakup. I think the whole reason why thinking of him this morning hit me so hard is because it was the first time I thought of him, the time spent together, and I thought of it with a grateful outlook, with all this true gratitude and peace and closure that I had never been able to think of in regards to him. And in essence, it's really painful to think of him that way. Like a memory I'm grateful to even call a souvenir. It's so painful to think that I'm getting to the point where him being a chapter that's ended in my life is okay. I mean, I used to fight for everything I had in my life, everything I loved, everything I wanted. I've had to fight and claw to the top just to prove for a second that I was worthy of maybe just being loved. But this time I'm not fighting to be okay or to be loved. I'm getting to a point in my life where it's just there. It just exists around me, and it exists in everything I do. When you do start to become romantically involved with somebody, you really do explore every single color palette in the world imaginable together. What I mean by that is you explore every inch of anger, love, lust, want, crave, need, calm. You explore every emotion, every color palette, every taste, flavor, scent in the world with that person. And suddenly one day you have to pretend like you don't know what their warmth feels like. And just the reality that one day you become okay with that. That's where I'm at now, and it's a very weird reality to accept, but it's one like, well, the more I think about it, the less it hurts. I imagine it's super easy to watch this video and think to yourself, well, she truly must not have loved him in the first place if, she can heal and move on and do so much progress in such a short amount of time. And truth be told, I'm still healing. I'm still making progress. I'm still setting these small milestones just so it gives me another reason to wake up the next morning. I still struggle to eat sometimes, and sometimes I still struggle to get on with my day. I truly did love that man, with every inch of my being, with every fiber in my soul. But what I urge you to remember is how important self-value, self-worth, and self-respect are. It's very easy when you're dating somebody to place them on a pedestal, to give them everything they could possibly have, all these tools for success and love. Essentially idolizing somebody, this level of worship. It's so easy to do that you really do lose your own worth and value in the process without even realizing. In fact, I didn't even realize that was what I was doing until last month. The last message I want to leave this on, and definitely the most heartfelt and most important one, I think, just to mention, is truly how wonderful love is. How beautiful a thing to exist in the universe, to be so intertwined, entangled, familiar with somebody, just a bunch of other things. Love is truly such a wonderful feeling, and I would go through heartache, heartbreak 1,000,000 times over just to experience love at its peak once more. And I say that with full confidence. Don't get it wrong. I still have my times where I miss him and miss the old life I had. But what's ahead of me is too exciting to look back anymore. Anyways, that was my little ramble over. And I'll catch you next time.